Good morning everyone, welcome to my channel. So today's video is the start of the June prompt for Susanna and her calendar. So if you're new, Susanna has a channel, Vintage Blend Studios, all the links are below, and each month she is stitching a theme or an image for her wall calendar, and I'm tagging along and doing something with each of these images. So it's ranging from creating a storage caddy through to, I guess, whatever takes my fancy. So June is a theme of having a cup of tea. Now Susanna loves tea. Don't like it. I'm a coffee girl, so it's not really my type of theme. But with Susanna in mind and her love for it, I've sort of got a couple ideas, and I thought I'd turn on the camera and show you what I've been up to. So what I've done is I've grabbed my journal that has all of my stitchery projects in it that have come along the way. So this one here was one of Susanna's pages. It was the heart. I did a study of mushrooms. Oh, it's probably a bit quick for you guys. A study of mushrooms in here where I just played with different styles of creating a mushroom. There's the little owl. I think he was part of the Roxy Journal of Stitchery project way back. Some more. Whenever I just feel like doing a page or a spread, I've got this journal to pop those, what's that, standing up, a little charm, pop them in. Now this was actually a sewing kit I bought when COVID was on from Anne Brooks, and it was a really good way to see her colours. And I didn't make the little needle book, but I used all of the fabrics to create two spreads, and I had this piece of vintage quilt that was stitched in behind as my background. Found a photo, a image that suited it from my fabric stash, and these little pieces were all that was left from doing this spread. And the lace and the branch is all me, but Anne's Brooks fabrics are the background. So, you know, even if you buy a kit from someone and you don't end up making it, well, have a look at those fabrics, because you might be able to use them as just a colour palette. So there's my fruit bowl, which was one of the prompts earlier in the year to do with Vintage Blend Studios calendar, just a random stitchery. When I was down there with Susanna, she gifted me a little pack of fabrics and bits. So for something to do each night after our day at the retreat, I just decided to have a little stitch. So I did this bouquet of flowers. So that's going to find a home in here. So I do have quite a lot of Susanna inspired pieces. So I think my teapot piece will go there. It doesn't leave a lot of pages left. So let's have a look. So teapot there, the bouquet will go there. I could probably take that fabric out. When I create a journal for myself, I often pre-prepare the blank backgrounds and then just pin them in so they're ready to go, and I know then they're the right size. So this one here might actually go here. I need to do a little bit of tidy up, don't I? I might pin that, and as part of my homework I'm going to stitch that piece in, because otherwise it's just going to be flip-flopping. This did have a piece of crocheted lace at the bottom of it that came with the panel, but I've since cut that off. So Susanna will be like, oh, she's gone and chopped it all off. Yeah, it just didn't fit. So we've had to modify. So I've got a bit of a raw edge here where I did cut it. So I might actually do a stitch along there. Gosh, I've got sidetracked. I will get to the teacup and my idea. When I do panels, I usually start with the base and then work up from there, which tends to be my logical style. Just going to Make sure that that all lines up. Oh, good. I can see the little bit of tatting peeking through from the previous stitchery. I love that. And that tends to happen a bit with these pieces. When you go to pop them in your journal, the bits from the previous page, like this, like that tatting edge there, becomes part of the visual for this piece. I think that's really neat. Now, if we find the page is too big, it's just right. What I do then, gosh, we've really got sidetracked now, how to insert a pre-stitched panel into your stitchery collection journal space. You can see what I'm up to underneath. That's where we're heading. Once I get this sorted. So what I'll do is get it pinned. I think I'll find a blue cotton and do a bit of a decorative stitch here, then invisible stitch the whole thing to the previous page, so then it's part of it. Now what I do then is there anywhere where things are showing? You can see, let me zoom in, you can see the wadding from that background of the blue panel is peeking through. So then I go looking for a scrap of something. I just got my basket of bits here that I'm always digging into. See, there it is there. It's too big to be popping on the screen here. But what I'm looking for is just a snippet of something that could slide in there. It'd have to be something in here. It is overfloweth. So it sort of needs to either be attached to this stitchery. Yeah, it does, because I've got a complete line finished here. So it's got to match in with this guy. All right. Just digging, just looking. Don't mind that little morsel. And what I'd probably do is tuck it in behind there and have it just peeking through, just as a little detail. So there's a quick little job. Let's stitch that. Gosh, sidetracked. It's always the way when you get into your journals that hold all your pieces that you've completed, you often find little jobs that you can do, you know, to finish it all off. So I'm going to just invisible stitch that little morsel into position. Susanna will be watching this going, will this girl get started on her teacup, teapot inspired piece? Yes. But first we need to get our blue bouquet of flowers stitched in. So if you're wondering how I make my journals, there are videos on my channel on how I put together a soft spined journal. I don't know if you can hear that fudgy snoring. Oh, to be a pussycat. In our household, the boy, I tell you, he's got a heated panel in his bunk, so he's at a nice tempered 35 degrees at all times. He's got it good for a 17-year-old pusscat. Ow, so it's just a case of a couple little stitches to add that little piece of lace there. And sometimes too, when I add these panels, I'll put in, you know, a bigger piece of something down the side if I want it to be hanging out. Even that blue works with that panel previous, so that's really good. So yeah, don't be afraid to slide in something else that you'll then see hanging out of the spine of your book. Gosh, the fudge is noisy today. It's blowing a gale here, and I so wanted to go outside and plant some plants. I've got some more pots of colour, they call them, just alyssum, and put some petunias, just poking around the garden. So now I just got to make sure this little guy is seated right. I might just trim that wadding back. I don't really want to add another That's just some batting that was used to stabilise the back of the stitchery. But these will now be permanently stitched into position with just invisible stitch. So I just take my time and work my way around the piece. Could do with something there. See, the wadding is peeking out. I wonder, is there something else I can find? That I can poke in there. What about that little guy? He's a nice morsel. Yeah, I like that. So once again, another little one to stitch. Oh my gosh, yes, Susanna, I will get to the piece in question. That's, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so what I did with this panel that you can see peeking out, now look, I'll get to that. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. Let's just get this stitched. There we go. I've gone quiet, concentrating. So it's just so easy to add some other little bits and bobs to your pieces even after you think they're finished, because your journal may require a bit of padding out, let's say, to get it to the right size for it to be into your book. Okay, I'll leave that lace at that odd angle because it's a snippet, it's a morsel. Oh, Fudgy's out of bed now having breakfast. How quickly he goes from snoring to eating. My goodness me. He probably heard my voice and thought, oh, Mum's up. What's going on? Then his stomach started to rumble. Isn't that how it usually goes? Straight to the bowl. See what options there is. Okay, so that little piece is now in, and I might just, soon I have thread, I'm just going to go straight through and start invisible stitching that down. So then I slither forward, jump through to the this side, go straight back, then I go in again, slip forward about half an inch. You could do it closer if you wanted, but go straight back through, then jump forward, bring it up. You don't want your stitches showing, well, I guess you could show your stitches, but I like mine to be hidden. And if you decide to remove a piece from your journal, it's pretty easy to find all these little threads and snip them, and you could take your piece out if you decided to gift it or frame it. So this is all about getting it all stitched in. I'll use the thread until it runs out, and then I'll put this to one side because I'm supposed to be starting my background for my, see, I forgot myself and I did a stitch right through. So no, you've got to go back down, then do your slither through so that your stitch is hidden. Then go back through. So for all you newbies out there, if you've got a few pieces and you're wanting to stitch them in to your journal, this is how I do it. Okay. Lovely. This thread just keeps going. I'm now whizzing along the top. So my pages of my journal are just a calico base. Just the most economical way to do it. If you've got access to a heap of recycled cotton fabrics and that, by all means, yeah, some sheeting, go for it. But just make sure your needle slides through the fibres of that fabric really well, because there's nothing worse than having that pushback from your fabric. You're just wearing your fingers out and your joints more than you need to. But if you can grab something that, you know, you can rip up to create pages, well, why not, I say? Why not? Okay. I just tend towards the calico or homespun because it's got that colouring that I like that just blends with all my work. So sometimes it's hard to find a fabric that is in the thrift stores that gives you the exact colour tone you want. So I've run out of thread now, so I'm just ending that off. Now, what I was going to say is the pages to my journal are a lot smaller than my stitch piece. They would be sitting within there. Sometimes they're only this big, so I will make sure that I do some stitches across to really make sure it's attached to the signature. So I'm going to then say that that is stitched and be in. Let's pretend I've done that. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I'm not right up on you. So that is going to be attached. And like I said, I'll find a blue thread and just drag a bit of stitching down here just to sort of, might even do a little bit, yeah, anyway. See, it just goes on and on, doesn't it? So I think I've only got one page left in this journal. I think so. Well, that's exciting. That means I get to make a new journal for myself. So this is the very back, and this is where the peacock is. Percy the peacock. I like doing double page spreads on the back and the front page inside of my books because sometimes it's just a project you need that landscape sort of feel to it. So I sort of make them with a bit of a tuck, you know, tie them off, and they're sort of a hidden treasure. Now, having said that, being I have one page, I need to just double check the size of my project. I don't want to be I might just loosen that off because I know I can go right up to that spine. So let's just get our piece of homespun into position, or calico. Now, actually, I'm going to leave it at that length. I thought I might pinch a little bit off, but it's pretty good. So I cannot go any bigger than that. Otherwise, we're going to have trouble getting it to fit on this last page. Oh, actually, no, because if I go past, I will have that happen. Is that a bad thing? Not really, because I could put some lace or something here. But do I want to change the aesthetics of that piece? and I'm going to say no. So, lucky I checked. I'm going to bring my piece back a little bit. I might actually, hang on, look at this. There's room here for it to actually pull in tighter. That's better, because then what I've got is, because I want to do Susanna inspired colour scheme, and she's pinks and greens and blues and, you know, all that gorgeousness, I sort of don't want that showing. So really, I guess the tip here is just to double check your journals. I might tie that so that it starts finding that spot. Double check your journals that the location of stitchery that you're about to do is going to fit, especially if it's a bit of a all over the place type of journal. You know, you do all sorts of things. That's pretty good, but I will need to bring this guy back a bit, and I might bring it back to the point where some lace could go. This is way more thought than I usually put in. So that's where it'll sit, nice and neat. Do not go past those edges, Corrine. But I can bring a lace in along this edge just to hide the fold of the journal page. So we're all good. Okay. Right, let's pop this vintage guy in there. That's his safe space where he can live. It's a very old iron-on transfer that I used for Percy, but the ink had broken down so much. I found it in Grandma's sewing machine in one of the drawers, so I thought, oh, I have to stitch him. Okay, so let's pop the journal out of the way. Now, what I've done for something different is I've gone ahead and created a piece of fabric, all stitched down with running stitch, a little bit of lace there, in Susanna inspired colours. And I was even chatting to her one day, stitching it, and she was like, oh, look at those. Oh, that's not you, that's so my colours. And I thought, that's what I was hoping for. So I thought it would be a base that I could use as my scrappy fabrics to build whatever I'm going to be doing here. So that's the theory. So let's have a bit of a look at this teacup. Don't really want to do the teacup in this fabric. This is what I had envisioned for background. So it's like when you do in journaling, you get a big piece of paper and you just glue down all of the, what do you call it? Background papers to create a brand new mood board. So that's sort of what I thought of doing. So the plan is to cut it, and I tried where I could to not make my thread too long, so I'd come down, see there's the knot, turn around and come back, and there's the knot, so I can slice through there because there's the next one starting. So my theory was to slice it up. I'm just wondering, I think we need to do it this way to have room for it. And I think I'm only going to do the teacup. So what I might do, just so I get my head around proportions, is I'm going to cut the teacup out. Gosh, it was funny when Susanna came to visit last year. She is a tea drinker, and of course we're not, so I didn't even have a teapot. So we end up having to scramble to get what we need to make tea. I'm sure you guys remember it that have been with me for a while, because it was quite a debate in the comments, who was a tea, who was a coffee. Were you in my camp or Susanna's camp? And Susanna was hilarious. She's like, what house doesn't have a teapot? I'm like, I don't have a teapot. Can't you just microwave the water? You can't microwave the water. It was so funny. My husband was listening to us have this debate about how you how you have your tea, and microwave water would be sufficient. But no, apparently it's not. So there you go. It was quite a debate. So there's my little teapot. Okay. I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm thinking. I wonder if I could. Just bear with me while I think. If I was to cut that through there, I really like this blue. This is funny. This is all Susanna. That's more me. So I just snuck in this little bit of blue just to have my input. I'm wondering if I can put the teapot onto there and then cut through here somewhere. Hopefully it lines up with something. I think it does. There's a U-turn there. What I call a U-turn in the thread. And there's a knot. So yeah, let's just do it. Going to cut through here. So this panel was just a case of grabbing a scrap piece, invisible stitching down some fabric that felt like it was a Susanna style, and creating just a piece of fabric, just a background, as if you just found an old quilt. Was sort of the theory behind this. So not all of us have access to quilts. So I was hoping to sort of create, I guess, a morsel of something. So I wonder, so it sort of feels like a patched piece that we've created from nothing. I'm thinking where is my U-turn? There. See, I got bigger pieces of thread and I went a little bit further. So there's a U-turn potential there where we could cut without cutting through. And look, at the end of the day, I probably could cut through my stitching, but if I don't have to, it's like, you know, when if you're familiar with Rachel's channel and she collages a heap of fabric onto a background pages, not fabric, sorry, book page, and then she cuts it up and then turns it all over and has a look at what the surprise is. That's sort of what I was thinking. I'm thinking along the lines of that. And I've got this little morsel here. Don't have to use it, but I might be able to stitch it in just to create some texture, or it becomes part of the teapot sitting on the table. And then I have an opportunity here to bring in some more fabrics. What are we going to have the teapot sit on? We need the teapot to sit on some form of, I'm just looking in my scrap bucket here, some form of tablecloth. I wonder if we could do something with that. It sort of feels like a bit of a tablecloth, doesn't it? So I don't think we need that. Just bear with me. Just having a bit of a play. So if that got trimmed back, I sort of like those flowers, but I wonder if I tuck that underneath. And I'm not a lover of that at the top there, and I've just lost my blue. This is really challenging, which is good. So I could cover that easily with a morsel, and we could do, you know, another morsel like that to come across, or got some lacy bits here, you know, another piece of lace. Or do I leave that? And this is my panel. Where's that tablecloth? So what would I do there? And save this for another day? That's an option. Is that the right colour? Do I need to go hunting for something that's more white? Look at this. This is so Susanna. And such a tablecloth, but it's so big. What would that look like? It's so big. It's too big. I like the idea that there's this little bit of linen still tucked away there. Is it the right colour? I wonder if I've got another corner for something. Oh, hang on, what's this? Got it. Different shape. What else have we got? Just bear with me, guys, as we have a rummage through. Nothing jumping out at me. What about this? No, it's the wrong colour. I think I've got to stay more into the whites. Keep coming back looking at this piece. Yeah, it's nearly a tablecloth there. Does it have to be as obvious as being on a tablecloth? Could it just be a little bit more random? Remembering we can have lace on this edge too. Remember that we had that little bit extra space. So if we take that into account, see, I don't mind that little morsel. This is quite challenging when you've got scrappy bits of things. My problem is I love all the fabric. I don't mind that. But I sort of feel like it needs to be that. Then we've got two blue corners. Is that an issue? It needs to be like that. Let's make that just background. So forget about that lace. We get the blue into that corner. Okay. We can find a lace then for this bottom edge. Just having a look at some more scrappy bits that are sitting here beside me. There's a blue, but it's the wrong blue. I keep coming back to this. Maybe that. It's not quite right, is it? I might pause the video and go and grab some more crocheted elements that are a little bit better colouring. Like that's better, but I think it needs to be more in the white. I've got also these other bits and bobs here that I thought I could build in around the project as well. So I'm going to, I got that fell out before. I don't know. I'll just pause it. What are we, 35 minutes in and we still haven't made a decision. All I've done is chop the background and fiddled around in my journal. But, you know, who knows where it'll go. All right, guys, be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. So not sure if I found anything. All I attempted to do was like pull everything out of a cupboard and make a mess. So we'll see how this goes. But I found some bits and pieces. There was like a whole cluster of these in the box of doilies. So obviously I've been chopping into them. So I thought, oh, that'll do. Let's just see what we've got here. All right. Now, so we want the look of a tablecloth. Don't mind that. And it can come out a little bit because we can extend the panel. So I'm thinking this bottom edge might be the extension. We put lace at the top there. Or do I do that? I don't know. I don't know. Sort of. So I don't mind that. Okay. And then this is the tablecloth. Like it's that little bit of, so you have to pretend that all of that gets cut away. And that's the tablecloth coming across all that work. And it peeks through. So you can look through. And then where's my teacup? My teacup would sit on top. So that's one option. What's this here? This is an edge off something. Oh, just could do that. So it's a little bit irregular, the panel. Maybe I'll move the teacup over to there and frame it out. Yeah, liking that. I'm sort of getting this as a window box. And that would go on like that. Don't mind that. All right, what else have we got here? Oh, look at you. I don't think I'm ready to cut you up, put you away, put you back in the box. Then I got some just classic doilies. But they're pretty big. I don't mind the idea of layering, but it might be too much. This guy came out and I've been nibbling. I think he's very tableclothy, but he might be too much. Okay, so controlling that would just be, here's a little hanky. Plus it has a little stitchery on it. And there's just this little edge of tatting. Ah, that was on that panel in the journal, where I pointed out that tatting. So that's where it's come from. Gosh. Okay. I have no idea what I'm going to do with the teacup. I wonder if I could make a layered random tablecloth. No. Oh my goodness. See, I keep coming back to this, but it's just the wrong colour. Do I need a tablecloth? Do I just do random collaging? See, this is where all these bits came into play. I don't know. I sort of feel like this has got potential. I can shorten it up. I can make it sit like an edge of a tablecloth. I think this is the piece I'm going to use. There's just so much going on in the background. I think I need to make my piece a little bit more simple. So if that went right down to that corner, I don't like that line coming into there. Something will come of all this. What if that was to disappear behind there? Let's take that off for now. I've got this little morsel too that I thought might find a home on this piece. This is just all about building up a background. Oh, I just don't know. Oh my goodness. I knew this piece was going to be a challenge. It just felt like I don't know, maybe it's because I'm not a tea drinker. I don't know. I know, and the more I fiddle with it, something will come of it. But at the moment, Can you hear my brain ticking? What's this? Hang on. What's this? Okay. What if we pull that out of there? We bring this guy in as our base, and then we build back from there. No. I like that corner there. Maybe that's my tablecloth. Where were my pieces? I had that there. That there. But I like that frayed edge. I think that's got to come in that side. I'm just going to cut that. I like the corner of the table look. Oh my goodness. Susanna, what have you done to me? Indecisions. I'll go a little bit bigger so I can turn it over past that fold. Let's see. So that will be stitched down. I like the fact that that's going to drape past my piece. There's my tea cup. And then I want to collage a little more on the background. And I think then I could get rid of that seam if I want to. And then maybe I build a cluster through here or something. You know, thicken it up with something. I don't know yet. We'll get to that stage. So the teacup has its place on here. Yeah. I'm thinking that is something. All right, I'm just going to stitch. For goodness sakes, girl. Where is my pins? So size-wise, we're still okay, but I think I'm going to extend that one up. And this one can come to the edge, and then that will go there. That allows me to put something there, just to build up texture in that. And I don't know what it's going to be, but we're going to make it a bloomin' decision here. Oh, it's because I don't like tea. I'm positive. This is just painful, Susanna. Oh, I know something will come of it all, but boy, everyone's going to have to just bear with me. What's this snippet here? Can we place a few little morsels around at some point? Yeah, we will. Something will happen. Needle and thread. Oh my goodness, thank goodness I got a month to do this. I don't even know what that's going to be yet. Something will come. I don't know what it is. Is it because the background is so full on, like colour-wise? I don't know what the story is. So what I'm going to do is pin this, and before I get too carried away, let's grab that journal and just double check that my pages are okay. I'd hate to put all this effort in only to realise that it's too big for the page. It should be fine because I knew I could go past a little bit, and this will be hanging out the end of the journal. Oh my goodness, my desk has exploded. Let's have a little look. Yep, so I can put some lace there. I can put something here. So that's, yeah, that's all good. So, you know, extra bits can be added to the pieces we slowly build, as in slowly build this slow stitched piece together. Okay. Oh gosh, talk about, oh. I know once I get it, it'll be fine, but you know, some pieces just don't come together as easily. I bet you're all screaming at the screens, but that's all good. You can yell as much as you like at me. I can't hear you. I have to stumble along myself and slowly try and bring something out of this chaos. It's because I don't like tea. That's what it is. Luckily, I've got till the end of June to nut this project out. I feel like I need a bit of a feature piece too. something to add to the chaos that is my page here. And the more you look, the more you see. I think that's where this piece is going to go. And in the whole chaos of the background, here's this little cup of tea. Is that sort of saying something, you know? Take a moment and have a cup of tea. Nearly there. Let's just get this little guy stitched down. I guess the background, the elements. And to speed things up, I thought I'll do this little random panel of all things Susanna. And then, yeah, chop it up. I didn't chop a lot, but okay. I'll leave that edge open a little bit because I might want to tuck lace in under there, so I won't go all the way to that edge. And I've got a little bit of thread left, so let's just whiz along. And I guess we've achieved something. We've got the start of something. I wonder if I find a embroidery or something. I don't know. Don't go ratting around even more in the cupboards, for goodness sakes. The lid was off my pen. Is that a good thing? Probably not, considering I haven't really used... Oh yeah, I did. I marked a line, didn't I? So I knew where to cut. I just had a vision of that pen being there. Now, what I might do is just stitch this little guy down. I'll really get it quite secure on the end there and just hope I don't want to tuck anything in under it. I don't think so, because I want this piece to be my tablecloth. I can see I could do some embroidery along there or find some lace. Where's that tatting? Remember I had the idea of layering things up. Let's just get him stitched. So my mind's going off on another tangent. And that tatting had a little embroidery on it, didn't it? I wonder. So I've got this morsel here too. Well, I definitely got my tablecloth feel. I so wanted it to feel like the edge of a little table or a tea set cloth. That's good because I've got my crocheted edge and I've got that little seam. I like, you know, seeing that. And I think it's given the piece a focal point now. I'll have to go hunting for some fabric for the teapot. Oh, not teapot. I'm not going to stitch that down. Leave that flapping so it does feel like a tablecloth. And we might scoot up here. I think what helped me when I said, I'm pretty sure I said it out aloud, this piece of lace just needs to disappear into the background. Stop trying to work that lump of lace into the teapot. Oh my goodness, I'm traumatized by the whole experience. Don't work it into the tea cup scene. It's just part of the background. And this going the other way, I'm thinking, well, is it a curtain edge? Is it a window frame? Is it like, just don't overthink it. It's just there because it's there. I think that sort of helped me move forward. I'll have to watch this video back. I usually don't watch my videos back, very rarely. Mainly if you guys ask me a question, I might go looking. I just let it go. It is what it is. It is like sitting at my desk with me where we're just brainstorming, doing whatever. It is as natural as I can get it for you. So I'll have to watch it back because I think it was a struggle. It felt like a struggle. But something always comes. You just got to keep fiddling. And then suddenly you get a bit of an idea. So the side here, to me, needs a feature piece that I can really, you know, get into. Unless this teacup turns into a major embroidery, or I don't know. I'll have a look for some fabric to make my teacup. I sort of feel like it needs to be quite simple, but who knows. I'm just going to, because we're in the process here of not only attaching those few elements to each other, but also attaching it to the panels. So we've got our base. Nice and secure. And it's become another piece of fabric, which was the whole idea of having a panel pre-stitched with running stitch and then just chopping it. I thought I might chop it more, but didn't need to in the end. Let's get this secure through here. I have a feeling all that will get covered, but you never know. Okay. I'm not sure how we're going for time. I had a feeling we were like 30 odd minutes into it when I paused it to go hunting for a tablecloth. So, well, let's assume that's the case. I'll go for another 10 minutes or so. Teacup for another day when I work that out. What I'm going to look for is something to go here and here to start building up the lace. I might grab another container of lace that I usually work from. Where is she? There might be some more morsels in there. I think I can eliminate all of that. And I can eliminate all of those. Let's upend this. I haven't got to the, oh, there's a piece. No, it's a dirty pink, isn't it? Let's just upend this and see what's in here. If there's nothing suitable, well, we might just call it quits. There's another piece. See how corners are cool. That's it, it's that dirty cream. Nope. Dirty cream. No. What's that? It's not bad. No. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Where's that tatting? Actually, hang on. Hold phone. Where was that little... Here it is. Not that. That. Oh, for goodness sakes. Got stuff flicking around everywhere. See this little piece of tatting? I wonder. And that little embroidery. She's a ratty little thing, isn't she? So feels like a tea party. Let's just pull it out. It is so fine, this fabric. I just don't know if it's going to work anywhere on this piece, because once again we've got this big bold background yelling at me. Nah. Oh, I don't mind that. If that was tucked under, if I turn that so that it just sat within the boundary. Oh, that's not bad. And we make it look like it's part of this tablecloth. It's like a, well, let's do it. What the hang? I'm going to pin it. It's going to be a bit short one side, I think. But I think we can work it in. It won't be a perfect fit, but we can disguise it with some decorative stitching. Let's get this pinned. So if I can get a tiny little turned edge there, I can still see my seam on that piece underneath. This tiny little embroidery will have a little home. Remember I said the layering? Could we do something with this tablecloth? What were we going to do? And I had visions of embroidering some little flowers along it, but this might just be, I think I need to work from the peak out. Just finger press that. As I stitch it, I'll make sure that my little edges are nice and turned. I might even have to get the iron and just give it a little press so it's nice and sharp. But I think you get the general gist. This will be my homework to get this little guy stitched in. I think that's a little hanky. And then wherever it ends, it ends. And if I can get a little tuck under here and there, well, I will. But that's going to be couched, I guess, onto that cloth. So it looks like it's part of it. This side here is a little shy, but that's okay because we can create a secondary or feature piece to the side here that can sneak across onto this piece. Yeah, I'll get that sitting just right when I needle turn it down. That's pretty good. But I need a sharper corner here, so it just looks nice and neat. I'll bring it up to the camera so you can sort of see what I'm thinking. So that'll be couched onto that, so it looks like it's part of the piece, hopefully. And then the teacup, we can really sneak down here. Yeah, and that'll cover that and that. So that'll fix all of those little corners. There's enough there to turn that under. Be just a case of removing the little stitch I just put there, tucking that all under so it'll still feel like it's got that curve, and then Yeah. So there's my little cute tablecloth that you would expect with a cup of tea. And then I will need to find something to go. Ah, the tatting. Hang on, hold the horses. Can we work the tatting in? Maybe the tatting could go on the teacup because we've got these little bands. We'll see. We'll see. I'll put the tatting in with this lace. I don't think there's anything in here that catches my eye at the moment anyway. See all these little laces, they could go on that teacup. But another day. I think I've exhausted my mental capacity at this stage. Oh my goodness. Good on you, Susanna. You and your bloomin' cups of tea. All right. I'm going to leave it at that for now. And in the next video, I need a week to recover from this. I'll work on who knows what. Bit of a feature something. I'll try and work out what I'm doing with the teacup itself and what fabric. I'll probably needle turn applique, unless I find some really interesting fabric that can handle that background and I can just rough cut it out and stitch it in. Who knows? Decision for another day. All right, guys, I'm going to say goodbye. I need to go and lie down after that. Oh, my goodness. Now, if that was a cup of coffee, no worries. All right, guys, have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Hi, guys, me again. I'm back. So I just wanted to show you, I've stitched down this little one. I end up getting the iron out and getting a nice corner down there. Stitched it down. It's a little bit short here. So I was just sitting here looking at this, and I decided I'm going to cut that. So now that I've broken those threads, you've got a couple options. You could put a little dab of glue there. They'd never come out. You might not be concerned if they do come out. But what I thought I might do is just put this little patch here, like so. Hides that doesn't quite come through. Adds another little element. And I'm just going to turn that over, that edge. So I get a little folded edge. And stitch that down with some invisible stitches. So that'll secure it nicely. I might just straight away stitch that. When I add it to my journal, that will be hidden. So I've just added another morsel from that big piece of background stitched fabric. So a snippet of a bigger piece, which is sort of what I wanted to do with this, is sort of create that panel and then cut the panel up to have elements to use in a bigger piece. Like I see quilts and bits of cutter quilts and things pop up online, and it's just so expensive, but I sort of want that quilted patchy look sometimes. So I thought, well, I'll just create a few little morsels. Now that's stitched, so I'm just going to come back up through here and just catch it down. And who's to say when I come back with the next video, maybe more of this gets added somewhere, you know, just to build another layer of colour, like even just a little piece like that in there. But I need to decide what's happening there. So I have a feeling I'm going to go hunting for an embroidered piece. But teacup needs to be nutted out as well. So I'll do that off camera and try and get a bit of a colour palette happening for the teacup. And then we can move to the next stage, whether it's the installation of the teacup or the feature. I really feel like I need a floral something. Just need to find that something, don't we? Oh, there'll be something somewhere. Gosh, it's going to make a mess, but I feel like I really need to dig deep into my stashes of somethings. Okay. I think the biggest challenge will be finding a background fabric that feature is on that complements this piece. So it's not quite white, but it's not that cream. It's a warm white. So unless the piece I find is really fussy cut out so it sort of completely disappears is another option. So that's stitched on, that little patch of stitching. Teacup will sit there on the tablecloth, and then it's a case of, do I keep collaging up through this area or do I leave those little scrappy bits there? Could definitely put another little piece there, couldn't I? Also need to solve that. But anyway, another day. Like I said, I need to go and lie down after this piece. It's coming together. I'm building something. So stay tuned. All right, guys, I'm going to say goodbye and toddle off. And I'll catch you in the next video. Saying goodbye again for the second time. All right, see yous.